Predictions for 2026 and beyond. It is not all doom and gloom. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It is not all doom and gloom, but you must be prepared. My predictions for 2026 and beyond. If you have been paying attention lately about what's going on around you in the news, social media, you might have heard sound bites of what's to come. They are inevitable. Everyone is talking about 2026. Everybody was talking about 2025. Everybody was talking about 2020. These times are going to be a lot of trials and tribulations, but have no fear, let love guide you. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome, thank you. This is Beacons of Light. Just be a channel. Your greatest versions of yourself await if you go out every day to become what you came here to be. Nothing shy of greatness. You must be great because that's in your DNA. I wrote a book titled G.O.D. You Are Greatness, Omnipresent, Divine You Are. Rekindle the flame. Link below. Get you a copy or two. Share with your family, friends, or frenemies. But without further ado, let's jump into the topic today. My predictions for 2026 and beyond. I typed it up because I wanted to make sure I get all of what I'm predicting, because from my own investigation and research, these things are likely to happen. All right, let's dive in. Number one, the rise of sovereign individuals. Certain people will denationalize and denaturalize. Know the difference. Denationalize and denaturalize. Two different things. People, when they migrate over to another country, they naturalize to become citizens of that country. So people are going to start denaturalizing and denationalizing because those nations no longer serve their best interests as before. Okay? Now, these sovereign seekers will use their wits, monies, ideas, and networks to create their own means of earnings, which means they will not be looking for employment. They will use the digital economy to amount greater wealth and pay less taxes. Everybody who knows what I'm talking about, rich, middle class, they're seeking safer tax haven locations or locales because they're tired of paying 51% in taxes, 54, 45, 35. They want to pay as low as 5%. Maybe if they go a little higher, maybe 10. Even 10 is still high, but people are running away from places like United States, UK, where they're paying too much money in taxes. So these sovereign seekers will seek other places where they can use their wits, monies, ideas, and networks to create their own means of earnings without paying large sums of money in taxes. In this information age, therefore, those who have great ideas and know how to use them to earn income will become the new clubs of millionaires and billionaires. If you haven't read the book Sovereign Individual, go get that book. It's on Amazon. It was written by two authors. I can't think of their names right now, but they wrote this book in 1997 about these times. There were people who knew then, and now we see these events occurring. But that's one, the rise of sovereign individuals. Number two, confusion on steroids. please pay attention to what's going on around you. We are living in times where a lot of people are on social media, correct? A lot of people are on different platforms, these apps, but most of them will be used for fake news, deep fakes, AI manipulations, and so on and so forth. So be careful what you watch, subscribe to, or accept as truths, because deep fake, AI manipulations, fake news have already crowded these social media platforms. You have to matter of fact, triple fact check everything. Do your own due diligence, your own investigations thoroughly before you conclude that what you've seen, or what you've heard, or what you've read is even true. And I also foresee that many people will start to they may become more deceived by AI and develop what they call AI psychosis. Now, if you don't know what AI psychosis is, please type it in Google. It will give you a definition. I can't think of a definition right now, so I can't provide that right now, unfortunately. But it's going to become more prevalent. So be careful what you subscribe to, what you watch, what you accept as truths or facts. That's number 2, confusion on steroids. Number 3, digital currencies will become more prevalent, plethora of them. There will be more digital currencies than countries. There will be more digital currencies than there are countries. Why? Because we are transitioning from fiat currencies, paper notes, and coins into the digital economy, digital assets, digital currencies, CBDCs, central banking digital currencies, stable coins, non-fungible tokens, cryptocurrencies, and so on and so forth. Meme coins and shit coins, you know, there are plenty of them. But that's where we're heading towards, and there's going to be plethora of them. The digital economy will transition into this. Well, we're moving from fiat into digital, so it'll be more digitized, more tokenized markets, and so on and so forth. So be prepared, get you some. If you don't know what ISO 222 coins are, please look it up. There's plenty of information regarding these sets of coins. I can name a few of them for you: Cardano, XRP, which was formerly Ripple, XRP. The other ones, XD Networks, I believe. There is also Stellar Lumens is part of it. There's several of them. Look up ISO 222 coins. Last month, November the 22nd, 2025, the former SWIFT system has now transitioned to ISO 222 coins now. So we are no longer in the SWIFT system anymore. We've moved from the SWIFT, the standardized networks of how financial markets work. We're moving now to the digital age, the digital platform. So if you have invested in XRP, hold on tight. If you have invested in Stellar Lumens, hold on tight, because that path is where we are headed towards. And Japan has already accepted that they will use XRP, and they are in it for the long haul, because a lot of people are trying to get rid of cash. They don't want to even use it because you can print it at whim. So no one wants to use it anymore. The United States, they're not printing no more money. That's why Donald Trump is adamant that he wants the United States to become the cryptocurrency of the world. You know, he came up with the Genius Act. These are not games. They are moving towards the digital economy. But You can take it or leave it. That's where we're heading to. That's number 3. Digital currencies. The rise of digital currencies is going to be a plethora of them. Number 4, global confiscation of resources. Guys, it is not an if, but when this is going to happen. It is already we have about 195 countries or thereabouts. 193 countries have already signed Agenda 2030, the Global Sustainability Act. They have already signed. 93 out of 95 have already signed the agreement to follow this mandate. Hence, why Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, stated in 2016, verbatim, "You will own nothing and you'll be happy." I asked this question, then who will own everything if we can own nothing and be happy? The rich, the wealthy, the billionaires, the trillionaires, the corporations. Why do you think BlackRock is buying up all these residential communities? Why do you think Bill Gates is buying farmlands? Why do you think all these rich people are buying properties in other nations? Homelessness is going to be on the rise. You would not be able to afford anything. If you're not rich, you'll be kept to the roadside. No one will even care about you unless your family members or your dear friends who may give you a helping hand, if at that. But that's where we're heading down that road. The next year up to 2030 and beyond, this is the future. And if you are heavily materialistic, now is the time to separate yourself from that, because you cannot keep up with the money you have to pay to stay affluent or to stay rich, but you're broke. You don't even have enough money to pay your rent. Imagine what people are thinking about now. This is December 2025. People are losing their minds because they can't buy a gift for their loved ones. You got to change that mindset. You don't have to spend or splurge this Christmas. Be wise, because you own nothing and you be happy, or you may be sad. I don't know. But anything you want, you are going to be renting. You're not going to be able to afford it. President Trump was talking about a 50-year mortgage. Who wants to be paying a 50-year mortgage in these times? We're trying to even get rid of the 30-year mortgage so we can just pay off whatever we have to pay off within 15 years. You coming up with 50-year mortgage? Who wants to do that? But anyway, to each his own. But the global confiscation of resources will happen through the Agenda 2030 initiative. They want to own all water, all land, all farms, everything. And 193 countries have already signed this agreement. 193 countries have already signed. Okay. Number 5, World War III and proxy wars. Now, the reason why I included this in my predictions is because the prevalent outcomes that could create regional tensions and instabilities is evident. You can see Nigeria. I heard Nigeria just bombed a potential coup that was happening in Benin. And a lot of talk about this. It's crazy. Some people are saying that France spoke to the Nigerian president, Bola Tinubu, and told him to do this. I'm not 100% sure. Again, remember, fact check everything, but it's on social media. I don't know how true this is, but if you think it's true, please comment below. But there's going to be a lot of protests, uprisings, riots, looting, racial conflicts, police brutality, people going to jail because they are thinking differently. If you say something on social media, they will censor you. These are proxy wars. There will be ones that whereby nations will be fighting other nations internally and externally. World War III will not be like World War One and World War II. It will be more done through economics. There may be some tensions where there's an actual physical conflict, but it won't be like World War II. Planes won't be flying over and bombing people. They may just have it whereby someone internally will just create a chaos that will disrupt the nation. And in this country, America, you already know we have too many guns here. So too many guns, more guns than people. We can actually take each other out without someone sending a rocket over here. But it's going to become more prevalent. So World War III and proxy wars are going to be more prevalent because times are getting harder. And you know, when I walk the streets of Washington, D.C., I can see people's faces. They're not happy at all. They're very sad, and they can't barely feed themselves or pay their rent or pay their bills. So you got to be very careful who you speak to. Don't debate. Be kind and just stay safe. Number 6, digital IDs. Now, when I did my investigation with digital IDs, number 6 is digital IDs. I did my investigation and research. This is not, I mean, it's going to happen. It's a no-brainer. Prime Minister of UK, Starmer, made a bold statement saying, if you want to work in the UK, and I'm just paraphrasing, if you want to work in the UK or come to the UK, you must have a digital ID. And he kept saying, mark my words. Let me spell it out for you. No digital IDs, no work. Now, this mandatory enforcement, the UK is already pushing it for now. There are several nations who already have nationalized digital IDs. Your phone now has already become a form of ID verification. You even pay with your phone now. Some people who have iPhones, they pay with their phone, Apple Pay and Apple Watches and all these things, right? Facial recognition, some apps will give you an option to use facial recognition or a two-step verification process. Some people are scanning their retinas. Some people are scanning their hands. You know, these things are already being required to gain entrance into some public spaces, government buildings, cinemas, stadiums, airports. That's the future. That's the present. But starting from next year, leading up to 2030 and beyond, it's going to be required. You can't even get on the plane without it. Yeah, it's coming. Number 7, there will be mass exoduses. Millions of people will start leaving Western nations and going to live in parts of Africa, some parts of Asia, not all parts. Some parts of Asia, some will even go to South America. Why? Because they'll be tired of the surveillance. They'll be tired of the requirements that the governments are asking them, the cost of living increase. But here's where the dilemma becomes even more catastrophic. When they relocate to other places, they will make it harder for the locals in these other nations who once had some means of being able to purchase some things for their daily needs. These new immigrants, if you want to call them, because they'll be seeking citizenship or they'll be seeking some form of residency, they will be coming with their own European or American minds, still trying to live like they did in their parent country, but then creating more problems for the locals because they can afford to eat, they can afford to entertain themselves, they can afford to pay their bills because everything is sky high. So you have two dilemmas. One, people will be leaving the Western nations to go to parts of Africa, some parts of Asia and South America where it's cheapest to live, but then create a problem for the locals who now can afford to live where they used to live, and it's their own country. They are natives of those countries. But there'll be a mass exodus coming because people will now start seeing the veil lifted and saying, look, I don't want none of this. But for those who will be relocating to any of these other countries that are now cheapest in some aspects of the cost dollar averaging, should be very cautious of how they, I don't want to say gentrify, but I can say it because it will become a habit, because that's what people are used to. So be careful when you relocate anywhere. Just try to make sure that you're not creating more problems for the locals, because you still need them to make your life more simple, easier, and still cheap like you want it to be. That's number 7, mass exodus. Number 8, AI and humanoid robots will become more normalized. They'll become more normalized and favored. If you have not seen Tesla's Gen 3 humanoid robots, you need to go check that out. It is coming out 2026. When I did my investigation, I also found that there are 2 companies. I'm not sure where they're located. I think Figure One Humanoid Robots is located in California, Palo Alto, California, I think. Don't quote me on that. It could be Figure One Humanoid Robots. They already have them now. Then there is 1X Tech Humanoid Robots. It may be based here. I'm not 100% sure, but I know Figure One is. They already have humanoid robots, and these robots are built with AI embedded in them. So the AI is their brains. That's how they can maneuver, navigate, walk, and have their beings. And they will be used for commercial purposes and general purposes. So if you have a need for these things, because they'll become more normalized and favored, they're already showing you in the advertisement that they're going to have this become a normal endeavor, a normal way of living. They'll become your companion. They even say they'll become your companion. There'll be no more nannies. A lot of people who will adopt this companionship will say, why do I need a nanny? Because this robot can clean, can wash my dishes, can bring a cup of coffee for me, can change the baby's diapers, you name it. But that's where we're heading, guys. You know, it's ironic. This preemptive predictions are something to marvel, because when I watched The Matrix, I thought I was just watching an action-packed movie, but it was preparing us for these times. Terminator, the same thing. And the later Sophia, who wrote the Terminator and The Matrix, is saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning. Wait till they start killing us. Wait till these robots start killing us. That's when you need to be worried about. I say don't even wait till that time. You need to start forming natural human connections. Because if we adopt these technologies, and I'm not saying technology is bad, I'm just saying that we are moving into an era whereby the human touch will become non-existent. And if we're not careful, we are going to lose our humanity. We're already losing it now. But imagine when robots take over, when AI takes over. We wouldn't even know that these times, the times of our forefathers, the times of our grandparents, the times of our parents even existed. And people will long to go back to those times, but they won't be able to go back because they won't know how. A word is enough for the wise. For those who want to keep the human touch intact and form communities, you can reach out to me, because I want to be around human beings, not robots. And last but not least, the ninth one is the obliteration of religion. The institution of religion will become irrelevant and merely observed as mythology or even fairy tales. A lot of people are not going to like this, but it's going to happen. Religion has lost its flavor. Religion does not serve the best interest of this new age reality that we are in. The age of Aquarius has lifted the veil of a lot of things that we used to believe in and no longer serve us. It is time to know who you are, become your greatest versions of yourself, embrace spirituality, know thyself, rise up, arise, and be great, because greatness, power, and energy lives within you, within every one of us. Religion was not meant to, religion was not meant to save, it was meant to enslave. And a lot of people will find this very troublesome or problematic, but to each his own. Watch when I tell you, starting from 2026, leading up to 2030 and beyond, religion will become non-existent, irrelevant, mythology, fairy tales. So these are my predictions for 2020 and beyond. Thank you for watching the video to this time, to the end. I would like to hear your comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all my subscribers for following me, for listening to what I have to say, for constantly coming to watch these videos. All right. It is currently, I think, after 4 a.m. in the morning. I just woke up out of my sleep. I was like, I just meditated and said, let me jump on here real quick and upload a video, because I wanted to get this message out before 2026 rolls in. All right, on to the next one, guys. Thank you for watching. Beacons of light, just be it your greatest self in this lifetime. Thank you, and bye now.